First responders, thank you for all that you do. I'm Garrett Martin of the Alberta First Responder Mortgage Program, a program I put together myself. After spending 8.5 years in law enforcement, I got my mortgage broker's license, and now I'm a proud sponsor of the Alberta First Responder Association and doing mortgages for first responders. No matter where you are in Canada, reach out. We're talking exclusive rate discounts, cashback offers, and guidance from someone who's been in your boots. I know the demands of the job, and I know how to make homeownership easier. Whether you're buying, renewing, or refinancing, I'll compare top lenders from across Canada to save you money. So visit GarrettMartinMortgages.com or text me at 403-915-1025 and let's get to work for you. Thank you for your service.
There we go. Okay, beautiful. Get the frog out of my throat. All right. So, sorry. And are you out of Leduc? Is that where you're?
I live out by Onaway.
Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right.
No, I came.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was like, oh,
I get around.
I assumed you were out by me, but okay. Okay. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, oh my gosh, we are back. It's already 2026. Can you fucking believe it, guys? Like, how did the Christmas season come and go and disappear? And we're already into January. What the fuck just happened? But welcome back. Hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas break. Today, you guys, I have a fucking firecracker of a guest. I am so excited about this one. Today, I am joined by Lesley Prosko. Lesley has been a paramedic for over 18 years. She did 15 years with the City of Edmonton and AHS. And she's working in a clinic now doing IV therapy. And she is also an author of multiple books, you guys. The one that we are going to dive into today that fucking caught my attention immediately is Instagram Moms Are Full of Shit. I saw the title. I fell in love. I stopped. I had to talk to her. And then I found out she was a paramedic. And then I was like, you're coming on my podcast. And she was like, sure. Okay, that sounds great. So I can't wait for this one, you guys. She's also the author of Mummy Why. That came out in August of 2025. And it is a children's book, and she's got 2 more books in the works, you guys. We're going to dive into everything today. But first of all, welcome, Lesley. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am so good. I'm very excited about this. So a little background to this episode, guys. I was at a trade show. I was at like a farmer's market. I was walking along with my kids, looking at all the Christmas things. And I looked over and I saw the title of this book, and I immediately stopped about face, like instantly drawn to this book. And I was like, what is this? Let me look. And we started talking. And then I was looking at your Mummy Why book, which I think I really love. I want to definitely talk about that one because super cool and like a great way for kids to kind of learn about differences. So I really want to talk about that one. But Instagram Moms Are Full of Shit. I was like, preach, girl, like preach. Yes, you are correct. We started talking about the book. We started talking about things. And then I just, as a like the psycho I am, I'm like, oh, well, do you want to come on my podcast and talk about the book? And I was like, it's normally about female first responders. She's like, oh, well, I'm a paramedic. And I was just like, oh, the universe is speaking.
Fate made us meet.
It totally did. It totally did. So I want to dive into this because I love hearing about people's careers, but then also hearing about these awesome things that people do on the side or as a, like this is something they're transitioning out of first responder into a new kind of facet or side of their life. But like 18 years as a paramedic, that is a long fucking haul. It's a lot of hard work as a paramedic. I know we've had multiple other paramedics on the show, and you actually know one of them, Sheila Farrell. So Sheila, if you're listening to this one, yes, hi girl. Yes, we missed you. We love you. But tell me about this. How did you get into this? How did this career kind of pop up for you? And what has your journey over 18 years been like?
So I've kind of always wanted to do something that like helped people. That's my entire life. It's all about like helping people. When I got out of university, I got a degree in athletic therapy. So I had worked with sports teams a lot, and I worked as a personal trainer. And I was very interested in paramedicine. But I also knew that I was very young and very green and was not prepared mentally for it yet. And probably not physically, because I'm a petite person and could not haul people, up and down stairs and stuff. So I worked as, like a personal trainer and an athletic therapist for a while. And then what happened, I broke my pelvis in a horseback riding accident.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was kind of like laid up. I couldn't be a personal trainer anymore, obviously. I couldn't even walk without crutches. And so I was like, you know what? This is kind of like, maybe this is fate. Maybe this is saying, let's take a break. Let's actually do what your passion is. So I applied to some schools and I got in and I was like, all right, let's see if this is it. And I fell in love right away. I could not get in fast enough. And I always wanted to work for the city. I wanted to get right in there. I like to see how other people live. And I love that perspective because it's not from a judgmental way, but it's like, okay, well, I live this way. And I grew up in a bit of a bubble, right? My was middle class, but it's like, I know that there's other stuff out there and I want to help them in a way that, yes, medically, but I also just want to know these people and know their stories. And that was kind of like my biggest draw to it.
That is very cool. I never actually thought of it like that about like, because yeah, you think like you guys go into these people's houses, like you go in everywhere. Like, whereas corrections, I'm like, they come to me. Like, I don't go out to these people's houses. I mean, I'm in their cells every day. Nasty.
Yes.
I see how they live. Jesus Christ. And I'm like, all right, did nobody teach you? You know what? I will say this fucking blew my mind. Actually, total aside is when I worked at the jail, I used to work in the admissions and discharge area. And so we would have to strip search the females and, you know, like all that stuff. And the amount of adult human beings that I had to teach how to put their clothes on a clothes hanger, like that had no honest to God, no fucking clue that you folded the pants and put it over the bar and then you put the shirt over and I remember like, because again, I came from Shore Park, middle class. Like if I didn't hang my shit up, my mom lost her mind, lost her mind. Right. And so I was like, I remember the first time I did it and I was like, what the fuck do you mean you don't know how to hang your clothes up? And I thought this female was just being like a shithead. Yeah. And I was like, hang your fucking stuff up. And she's like draping it over like the top. And I was like, and it's falling off. And she's looking at me. She's like, I don't know how to do this. And I was like, oh my God, stop being a fucking idiot. Let's go. Put your clothes on the clothing hanger. And then she like looked at me with this look. And I was like, oh shit. Like
things that are like so second nature to us, you just knew how to do. Yeah.
Yes. So like, I did not even think about that for you going into people's houses and like what you would see, experience.
Yes.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow.
You see a side of society that nobody else sees, or that very few people see, and a lot of people hide. And it's like,
well, because you're getting called in the middle of the night when like the house is a disaster. We just went to bed. Nobody, you know, the dishes didn't get done last night because everyone's fucking dying. Not when company is coming and we know people are coming.
Nobody cleaned up for us to show up.
Right? When mom is rage cleaning and throwing everything out and like is like, this house has to look like nobody lives in it.
This is how it always is. Nope.
Totally. Once again, Instagram moms, they're full of shit.
They just had company. They only rage clean to take that video.
Totally. Oh my gosh. True. So where did you go to school then? Because you're from the Edmonton area. So did you chose to go to school within Edmonton?
Yeah. So I did live in Edmonton at the time. I live out on an acreage now, but I lived in Edmonton for basically all my career. So I went to a school called Canadian College of EMS, which I don't think it exists anymore.
Okay.
NATE was always a thing, but it was like, this one was more of a condensed program. So it was 6 months of classes and then 6 months of practicum. So it was very quick. I did my EMR there prior. So you do your EMR and then your EMT and then you do paramedics afterwards. So I did up to PCP, which is the primary care paramedic, or it was called EMT then. Yeah. So I did the EMR, which is like a 2-week course. And then you have to register with the Alberta College of Paramedics. And I honestly, when I did my EMR, I didn't even think about, it's like, I got to go register. I got to take another test. Well, I didn't study for it, sorry to say, but I just went in and was like, okay, I have to write this like giant exam that can determine whether or not you can even move on. And so I did that and I passed it, thank God. So you do like an exam and 2 scenarios and it's like a full weekend deal. And so I passed that, got onto the EMT thing. And then it was like, okay, now you're actually learning things. And
Wow.
so 6 months of straight, no nonsense learning, and then 6 months of practicum.
Holy. And so were you rehabbing at the time, like for your pelvis?
So I was rehabbing during my EMR part of it. So I didn't, I hurt myself in the spring of 2006. And so I got into school in like January of 2007.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I had been rehabbing kind of like the whole time. And then EMR, it wasn't like, you didn't have to do any of the physical stuff. It was just like, it's kind of like an advanced first aid. Like you can give oxygen, and that's kind of like your only drug you can give. So it's not like you had to do anything physical. For EMT, you did have to like, you know, carry somebody on a spine board up and down stairs and stuff like that. So I was basically rehabbed to the point where I could do that then. But I definitely wasn't like fully rehabbed. That took a bit.
Yeah, totally. Oh my God. And so how old were you when you started that?
So I was 25.
Okay. So you're still not young, like you weren't coming into it as an 18-year-old. You're coming into it as somebody who's kind of has a little bit of, you know, life behind them. Yeah. That's interesting.
And that was the thing, is when I was 18, I wanted to do it, but I also recognized that I was not mature enough. And there are a lot of very mature 18-year-olds, but I wasn't one of them. You know, like I wanted to go out and party, and I was still very like green to the world, and like had just moved out of mommy and daddy's house. And you know, it's like I was still in my little bubble of like, everything is the way that I had it growing up. And was not mentally prepared, nor physically. I was probably like 100 pounds soaking wet then.
So on that vein though, because I feel like a same thing, I started in corrections when I was 22, when I thought I was mature and like worldly. And I thought like like exactly. I thought I knew what was going on. I didn't know shit. I say this all the time. I'm like, I look back and I'm like, you fucking idiot. But so did you find like a kind of a bit of a culture shock between like, even at 25, even after experiencing a little bit of life, between going from like what the world you grew up in to now what you're seeing, and like, holy shit, when you go into the first house that is totally a fucking disaster?
Yeah. Like I mean, I had been downtown, but I don't know if I ever recognized like the homeless population. I actually grew up in Fort McMurray, and Fort McMurray is a very different place now than it was when I was growing up. There was like 35,000 people. I literally walked to school like through the woods. I wasn't afraid of like drug dealers and pedophiles. I was afraid of bears. Yeah. Like literally. Yeah. So it's like, I think there was like one homeless guy downtown that we would, and everybody knew who he was.
Everybody knew him. They gave him their cans. They gave him a hot dog if they, totally. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Coming into Edmonton and coming into the inner city and like seeing those tent cities and just like seeing people everywhere. And you're like, what? Like, how? And in my naivety, it was like, hey, a lot of these people choose to do this. And, you know, like those kind of mindsets of like, why can't you just stop doing drugs? Or why can't you just find a job? And it's just like, nope, that's not the way the world is.
It's
and
not,
a very like eye-opening perspective on people that made me really appreciate humanity.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You do. You definitely get a little bit of a, okay, then it's not so cut and dried with what like my parents had kind of said, you know, like, oh, they're just too lazy to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. That must be it. Right. Because they don't have a job. So they must be too lazy to work. And then you start hearing like how they grew up and how they didn't have a fucking chance from when they were 2. And you're like, I'm pretty sure that's not a choice. I'm pretty sure it's not a choice. We'll have to dive a little deeper into that, but I'm pretty sure that's not a choice.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, black and white of it is like, everybody's human and everybody deserves that kindness and respect if they return it. Right.
Yeah. Yes.
It was just like a lot of the inner city people, they get treated poorly by a lot of first responders. And I was always in that mindset of like, listen, I'm treating you with respect. Can you please treat me with respect? And it would be like a 180. And they're like, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. And they're all very I've had very few problems with any of them because they were like, okay, you're treating me like a human being. And it's like, I don't know why we're going to the hospital again. We've met 1,000 times, but it's like, that doesn't matter. You called me. This is your emergency. You are a human and I will treat you like a human.
Yes. And I think that is a unique characteristic for paramedics. I say that, I mean, obviously all first responders, we have to have that, but like most of the time we're not getting called to the same call with the same person on repeat. Yes. Police, we're going to go to the same house. Yes. We're probably going to go to a couple of the same domestics. Yes. We're probably going to go to the same store a bunch of times for probably the same shoplifters, that type of thing. But you guys are literally getting called on repeat, sometimes multiple times in the day for the same person, for the same thing, to go back to the same hospital that they just chose to walk away from, that you literally transported them to fucking 2 hours ago, right? Like, and that to me, like, that can build up that resentment very quickly of like, you are wasting our time. There are people that actually need us. Now we're stuck at the hospital with you. Like, and so I think it is a very unique characteristic to be able to have that ability to say, I'm just going to put that aside, and it is your emergency, and I am going to treat you with dignity and respect. I'm going to treat you like a human being, even when you are full of that, like, for sakes again, when you get there, right?
Like, for sure. But I'm also like, you've got me for 12 hours. And this is where I don't choose where I'm going. So that's somebody else's job. If you want to keep sending me back to the same person, because you can't determine that it's not now an emergency, right? So it's just like, well, whatever, I'm here for 12 hours and I'll help whoever you send me to.
Yeah. And so when you finished school, so you did your EMR, then you went straight into your EMT?
Yeah.
And then when you finished that, that's when you got hired on with the city?
So I worked for Interhospital Ambulance at the time. So it was the transfer division that when the City of Edmonton, before we all became AHS, the City of Edmonton was separate from the transfer side. So I got on with the transfer side right away and kind of like, wet my heels there. And at the time, the City of Edmonton, it was like this big thing of like, you do not get on the first time you apply. It is very hard to get into. And so I worked there for about a year. And then I was like, okay, I am mentally prepared for rejection. Essentially, it was like, okay, I just got to get the first time out of the way. And then, like figure out what I have to do differently. And I applied and I actually did get on the first time, which was like blew my mind because I was like, well, I was ready for rejection. I wasn't ready to get on.
When they call and they're like, yeah, we'd like to offer you the job. And you're like, okay, thank you. I'll apply again next. I'm sorry. What did you just say?
Like, wait, what? What day do I start?
I'm sorry. Did you say you're offering me the job? Absolutely. I 100% expected to get hired. What the fuck?
But it was a process. It's not, I think now there's a couple interviews, but it was like an 8-step process and you had to like pass each step. So you were like applying for like an entire month. So you went in, you did like your HR interview. You had to interview with the medical director, which everyone was terrified of. I had a great interview with him. He seemed super nice. It was Dr. Sukram. Shout out Dr. Sukram.
Thanks for giving me a job.
Right, thank you. But it was that, and you had to do like an 800 question psych test. You had to do like a physical, like a big obstacle course at NATE to make sure that you were physically strong enough. Like there was so many different steps. Even like a ride along, you had to ride along with a current crew, and they got to determine, whether or not you were mentally ready enough, like that you could handle this job. Because if they didn't want to work with you, then, or if they didn't think that you were ready to be sent out on your own, then you weren't ready yet. And I think that was a huge, like a really good thing. I know now, obviously we need a lot more paramedics. And so they kind of streamline the process. But a lot of those things I think are still super important that they should bring back in.
Yep.
Or at least like on the job training.
Yeah, I literally did before Christmas. I did a podcast episode specifically on that, on what I feel are the declining standards for first responders and how I know, I get it. Like literally the reason I started Blue Line Fitness Testing was because I was a manager that couldn't get staff because there wasn't a place to do the fitness test. There was Grant McEwen, 20 spots once a month, and I'm looking to hire like 80 people. Well,
Right?
I can't wait 6 months for 20 of them to pass the test, let alone run the test, right? Like I
Potentially
was
pass the test.
exactly, right? And I was like,
not
this is
everybody
ridiculous.
passed every level.
Exactly.
They out along the way.
Totally. But there is definitely things that I see now slipping massively or relaxing of standards that I think to myself, like, we are fucking ourselves. Like if I like looking ahead, knowing, and like, especially knowing the way society is going,
Yes.
we are making it way easier for people to get into these careers, but the problems that they're going to be dealing with are way fucking worse than they were when I was in corrections or right. Like, and I think so now we've made it easier to bring in people who do not fit these jobs mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever. And the problems that they're going to be dealing with and the social disorder that they're going to be dealing with is way worse than it was when we had very strict standards, very high standards. Like you said, it was a very competitive process where you didn't get through. You expected to not get through the first time, right?
Yes.
And so I am very worried about it. Like I literally, I look ahead and I think we are on a slippery slope of shit because once you've let it go, it's very hard to claw it back and then be like, oh, well, now you have to do this and this and this to get in when we're dying for people. So, yeah.
Well, the problem is you're bringing in giant classes of hires and they're only lasting a few months because you didn't prepare them. You didn't, like they're leaving on back injuries 2 months into their career. They're leaving on psychological injuries because of the stuff that you see and you didn't make sure that they were mentally strong or prepared to go into those situations.
Yep. I really like and we always said this about corrections. I like that they made you do a ride along because I think that is something, again, especially with corrections, just because it is so closed door, right? Like it's not like you see paramedics, you see what they do if you're just out in the street, you see them respond to firefighters, police officers, you see what they do. Corrections, you don't see them. We just go in behind the wall, the door's shut, nobody really knows about us or thinks about us until something goes wrong at the jail. And then they're like, oh, look at all those correction officers, like, or
they do wrong.
Right? Or, oh, that inmate escaped, or oh, this happened, right? Like we're very kind of that hidden first responder. But in that same thing, it's like you should have to do shift or a observation or something so you know what the fuck you are getting yourself into, because there's times where we've hired staff and once they hear the door lock behind them and they realize that they can't get out, like that they just can't actually physically turn around and open the door and leave when they want to or go to a place when they want to, like that everything they do is controlled. Like I've seen people, brand new staff, like just panic, like eyes bugging out of their head. They're looking at me and I'm like, and me, I don't even fucking hear the click.
You're like, I didn't even hear it.
I'm like, what are you freaking out about? And they're like, the door's locked. I was like, yeah, that we can't let the fucking inmates out. Like, yeah, we're out here. We're on the unit. And they're like, but I can't get out. And I was like, yeah. Like, what? Like, what? Okay, yeah, I guess you never really thought about the fact that you would be locked into this place with these people. Like, but again, like if you'd have done an observation shift or you would have done a shadow shift or like a walk along with something, right? You would know that that was the reality of the job. You would know that this is what you're going to deal with every day. And maybe it's not the job for you. And that's fine. That is totally fine. If that is not the job for you, that is fine. I would rather know now before we've put all this training and all this money and all this energy and effort into you for you, like you said, 2 months down the road to be like
traumatized for the rest of your life because you heard the door lock. Like
totally. And now leave. And now I'm out another staff when I could have caught it at an earlier stage. So yeah, I completely agree with you on that. So when you went, so EMR, EMT, and then merged into AHS, did that whole transition, which is a big, huge thing, I think, for like any first responder, that whole change of like, you know, your uniforms and the organization and the chain of command and the structure and everything like that. And then when did you choose to become a paramedic as opposed to, sorry, are you advanced care or are you a primary care?
I'm a primary care paramedic.
Okay. So you didn't make the move yet up to advanced care. Do you think you want to at any point or no?
No, I don't think so. I think at like earlier on in my career, I thought about it. At that point still, I wasn't ready to be the sole person in charge. I worked with some great advanced care paramedics and they let me do a lot of stuff. Like I would bounce my ideas off of them and we worked very much as a team. There are some that, you know, will treat you like you're the lesser than. And I was very fortunate to have very good partners in that realm. So I never felt like I needed some like the validation even of it. And I didn't want to go back to school for 2 years, to be honest with you. Yep. I couldn't financially have done it. I was, you know, paying my rent and I was getting paid well at the time. And I was like, you know what, maybe in the future I'll do it. And then it was kind of like when things were starting to slip and I was starting to go into these bad calls without the debriefings and stuff. I ended up getting diagnosed with PTSD and was off work and was like, you know what, maybe this was about 10 years in, but in the beginning, we didn't have those debriefings. Like there wasn't, no, like you did a pediatric call. Yep. And it was just like, I'm sorry, we need you back out on the road. And you might have had like 10 minutes to like chat with your partner, but it wasn't like, it was just back out. And you need to be very well at like putting it in the box. Deal with it later. But the problem is we just all put it in the box and never felt it ever. So, you know, 100%. And it built up and I had that come to Jesus moment of going to a call and it wasn't the worst call of my life. It was just, I felt nothing. And I was like, that's not normal. I don't feel sad. I don't feel mad, but I also don't feel joy. I don't feel anything in life, in anything. And so I was like, okay, maybe this isn't going to be my forever career. And started thinking about, that would have been probably around the time that I had decided to go into advanced care paramedic. But I was like, no, I don't like the way this is going. And I was lucky. I recognized it early on that I was like, okay, maybe I need to transition out. Maybe this isn't a forever career. And at the time we didn't have as PCPs, you didn't have a lot of options that wasn't on the ambulance. Like there wasn't office positions and stuff to grow with your career in that direction, to just get off the streets. It was stay on the streets or leave.
Yeah. I really thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of people, even in like now, where speaking about PTSD, speaking about our mental struggles, speaking about having that come to Jesus moment of like, whoa, like something in me has changed. We're getting better at it, but there's still a lot of people out there that are like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Totally fine. Nope, it's fine. It's just work. It's just the way it is. Right. So again, thank you for being brave and sharing that. And for our listeners, again, if you are feeling like that, it is normal. These careers will do this to you. You will have these moments and you'll have them multiple times through your career. That's the other part. I think a lot of people think they're like waiting for the come to Jesus moment. But meanwhile, they've had micro ones multiple times throughout their career and just kind of ignored it. I was that type of person.
Totally.
I had multiple times throughout my career where the universe was like, hey, dummy, knock. Like this is not your journey.
Let's work this out now.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Actually, universe, just, hold my beer, watch me keep going.
and you do have to kind of put the blinders on, and you can't be emotional in every call, right? Like, I can't go into a call and like start crying because there's a sick kid, and I need to put the blinders on and I know what to do. It's the after the call part. And the way that like my psychologist was like, he's like, you put those things in the box for a long time and it's fine. It's totally fine for a long time until that one thing gets put into the box, and then that box blows open, and then you're like,
and then everything that you didn't deal with at some point is still in the box and comes flying out at full fucking velocity. And then it's like, okay, yeah,
like,
I didn't
whoops.
think.
Yep.
Well, like I said the other day to my friend, I've been out of corrections for 6 years, which blows my mind because to me, it feels like it was just yesterday. There are still nights that I wake up replaying codes in my head, replaying calls, replaying interactions, and thinking to myself, God, you fucked that up big time. Or like, holy shit, that was really scary. Like that was actually really, right? And it's like 6 years. And that's 6 years out. And that incident happened 16 years, right? Like 16 years ago. And it's like, holy shit. Like, yeah, you're stuffing the stuff in the box and you're never dealing with it. It's coming. It's coming out at some point. So yeah.
Yep.
And so when you were diagnosed with PTSD, did you go off work? Did you seek help? You were able to get into a therapist?
Taken off work. So it was peer support at the time. And they were like, my partner had recognized it. He was off. And so they came to like talk to me as well. And I was like, oh no, I'm fine. Still that. And they were like, you're not reacting the way that you should. Like, maybe we should take some time off work. And then I think it all kind of hit me. It was like, somebody recognizes something in me and maybe I do need to. So I did take some time off work and then we ended up getting pregnant. So it was kind of like another fate intervened again. We had been trying to get pregnant for 3 years at that point. And the stress of work might have,
Totally.
So we did end up with like a fertility doctor, but it all kind of aligned in that time. And so it was like, okay, maybe now that I'm going to be off. So I got put on like light duty. So I was off the road and that completely helped. So I had gone to counseling and I'd been back at work and was working in the office. And then I had that year of mat leave. So it's like, I got to step away from it for a while and came back and was like, okay, maybe that was enough time. And I was at the point where I was like, I'm actually excited to go back to work. The part of the job of like helping people and like, if I could just go to like little old ladies who fell down and can't get up for the rest of my career, like send me to those calls like that. Yeah. I still loved the job. And so I was happy to go back then, but I also knew that this wasn't going to always be how it was. Like, yeah.
Did you find after going to therapy, like being able to release some of the stuff that was in the box and being able to talk through some of that, which I think sometimes that's all we need to do. We just need to talk through like some of the things in the box. Some of the things are going to take years to talk through, but some of them it's like, you talk through it once or twice and you're like, oh, that's gone. The box is a little more empty. Like I feel a little bit better after that one. But did you find you were able to bring strategies back to work that were actionable that you could actually use after having gone to therapy, having spoken with somebody so that when the new calls are coming, you're able to deal with them a little bit better?
Yeah, I recognize that that I did need the time after some calls or even because when you first come back as like a third on. So you're not necessarily in control. And one of the first calls that I went to was like a DOA. And I walked in and I was like, I am not ready for this yet. I'm not ready to see another dead body yet. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I like backed myself out and like called the supervisor. I was like, I just need to go back to station and like give it a minute. And then was just like, yeah, this is, I need to recognize that I am not that superhuman that I thought I was, I guess. Yeah.
Totally. And I think that is the hugest part of it. Like, and so again, well done on having the bravery to back out knowing that you weren't ready, because I think we all think that we're superhuman, and we, even having gone to therapy, even having gone and, like been taken off and done the work and then come back to work, we get put back in a situation. And what do we revert to? We revert back to old thought processes and old, like, fuck it, push it down, just get in there. Don't be the weak one. Don't bail on your partner. Don't be the one that fucking leaves them with only 2 people. Like, come on, suck it up. Right. But like, literally, we just went to therapy to get help about that. Yeah. Why would we fuck ourselves up by being like
It
It's okay,
shouldn't
I'll go
just be
in.
the two people there. There should be another crew coming in. And that's not my problem. If
Yes.
the system is broken, I think that's the thing, is like the problem with first responders is we love our job and we love our partners, because that your partner you spend more time with than your spouse. And we don't want to let our partner down or our coworkers down. And so we work ourselves past the brink.
Yep.
And to get to that mindset, it's like, this isn't my problem to fix. And the more times that we try to fix this problem, the less that they're going to try to fix it. So even like the calling in sick, you feel guilty because, now my coworkers are all going to have to work harder because maybe there's one less ambulance on the road. And it's just like, this isn't my problem. And trying to take that off your shoulders of like, this isn't my fault. This isn't my problem. This is their problem. And I'm just here trying to do my job.
Yes, I love that, because that is a good mindset to have. And I, on the flip side, as the manager, would get the calls up from these people who were like profusely apologizing. I'm so sorry. I know that you're going to be short staffed now. And I like, please give my partner, don't give him a shitty overtime, or like, please, can you just shuffle the the roster around to give him somebody good? Because I feel really bad, but I'm really, really sick and I can't, and they're like fucking dying on the phone. I'm like,
you're like, I can't get off the toilet.
I'm like, it's not your problem. I got it. But on the flip side of it being like, motherfucker,
totally. Yeah. Yes. You're like,
okay, I guess I'll find fucking somebody somewhere. So but I think that's very true. Like, it's not your problem, and taking the extra guilt on that it is your problem is not making it any fucking better. So yeah. And so then at what point did you, because then you have 2 kids. So you were pregnant with your first on this first one?
So I hadn't been pregnant yet when I first got PTSD. When I was off and I had done a bunch of the counseling, it was kind of like the tail end of it that I got pregnant. And so I did go back onto the ambulance for a bit prior to going on light duties. And I was kind of like, I was good. I was like, okay, well, this is good. And I can go on light duties and then I'll be off for a year. And that'll be enough time to like mentally come back. And then I know people say like, once you have kids, kid calls are bad. Once you have kids, they're infinitely worse because every kid is your kid. Yeah. And I knew that ahead of time, but I don't think that you can emotionally.
You totally don't. You totally don't.
You in a gajillion ways, right?
So I was like, it's totally like, I had the exact same, the exact same moment of like, I knew like dealing with, and I've talked about this. We actually have an episode on the podcast, like being a mom and a first responder, and like having that moment of like, I know when I have kids, like these, like dealing with kid diddlers, dealing with like, people that have murdered their kids. Like, I know it's going to be tough. And then you have your kid, and then I think to me, it's because before you have kids, you're like, okay, a 3-month-old, I don't know, that's like a baby. Like it's like they're like a little baby. A 6-month-old, they're kind of sitting up, like maybe, and I'm saying this because I actually know what they do now. But like maybe I didn't know that before I was a mom. 9-month-old, 2-year-old, I don't know. But now you know what that is. Like now when you hear that like a 3-month-old was murdered you're like, how the fuck did you do? Like that thing is fucking helpless. It is just a lump in a fucking sleep sack. Like what? And so I totally I 100% because it is that lump in a sleep sack becomes your lump in a sleep sack. And you think to yourself, how the fuck could you do that to this little thing? That's so helpless. Right. Yeah. So then at what point did the writing come in where you were like, I am kind of interested in this and I kind of want to do some dabbling? Or was it something you always did? Like, was journaling a thing that you did as you grew up? Or
so not necessarily journaling, but I would write like stories and stuff. And I've always been a storyteller. Like I enjoy talking to my friends and telling stories and like recreating things. And so I've always kind of been that person. And then when my second was born, I saw this opportunity on Facebook show up of you could work for a mom blog. And I was like, oh, that sounds super fun. Like I like going places with my kids. I can write about them and get in for free, which is a bonus. And just be that fun person and like put memes up and tell funny stories and just be like that that mom group that you think is on social media. And I
Mhm.
wasn't really on any of those social media things because I had some friends that had kids prior to me, and I have friends that now have babies and stuff. So I kind of had like a wide range of the motherhood journey. And so I always
Mhm.
like turned to them instead of to social media.
Mhm.
And I started like posting stuff and saw these like nitpicky comments coming in and was just like, what is wrong with these people? Like, it's hard enough being a mom,
Mhm.
like you're isolated at home and nobody knows what they're doing.
Mhm.
It's a big old winging it
Yep.
shit show,
Yep.
that some days you're just like, can we just all go to bed and start again tomorrow? Like, and that's success, like everybody survived today. And that's a friggin' miracle. Like, it's hard.
I said that to my husband like a couple days ago. I said, he came home and
Yep.
he's like, what do you want for supper? I was like, I don't give a fuck. I want to go to bed and just be done with today. And he like looked at me, and I've never like said that before. And he was like, so you're not hungry? And I was like, no. I was like, I want to
Like, I'm
have a
so
beer.
done, but
I want to have a beer to get a buzz on and go to fucking bed. And he just like laughed. He was like, what? And I was like, I'm done with today. Like, I'm done. I
It's
need
been a
a
day.
reset. Like, I need a reset. And he was like, he just kind of looked at around at the kids and he's like, okay, everybody just eat what you want out of the fridge.
Fruit Loops for dinner.
Yeah, mom's going upstairs and we're gonna try again tomorrow.
Yeah, mom's done with the bullshit for today.
Yep, totally. And so, because I agree with this, because I was very much similar to you.
Mhm.
I had my kids kind of around my group of friends. And so we all kind of had either a little slightly older, 2 or 3 years older, or, pregnant. And I now had like a 1-year-old. So I kind of had that group. My sister didn't. So she didn't really have kind of like a crew around her. She had like her friends and stuff, but they weren't in the same phase as her.
Yeah.
And she became very much mom's group. You need to join this mom's group. You need to join this mom's group. You need to join this mom's group. And I actually remember saying to her one time, because I had looked at one of them and I was like, all I saw was bitchy moms. And I was like, no, that's a hard fucking pass, because also I have no filter. So I knew that if I went onto this mom's group and somebody fucking went off, that I would not be able to hold myself back. I would just fucking unleash. Right. And so I was like, this is not the place for me. This is not the community for me. And thank God I have my friends. And I said to her, I go, I don't need a mom's group. I have enough friends. Thank you very much. I'm just going to go to my friends because I don't need this fucking group. And so without wanting to like shit on the moms that joined the moms group, because there are some out there and it was their social circle and it was what they needed.
Well,
they needed
that's all they have. Some of them, right?
Right. Exactly. That they needed somewhere where they could go and ask a question and not feel stupid because they had nobody else to turn to. They didn't have a mother figure in their life to help them. They didn't have, like whatever it was, right? Mom doesn't live here. Like, what they don't have a mom, whatever it was. So I don't want to shit on the moms that join the moms group.
No.
But I feel like that's also the double-edged sword is like, people are fucking rude and harsh,
so mean,
awful in those groups. Like, how did that, like, as a mom, already, like you said, already fucking knowing that you're failing. Like, literally, that's the other part of things. Like, if you don't have kids yet, if you're listening to this and you're a female, fucking prepare. I remember saying this when I had my first. Prepare for feeling like the shittiest mom for the rest of your life every single fucking day. Just prepare for that.
Always question everything you've done, and you're going to wonder if you've screwed up your kids for life, for the rest of your life. And you won't know until they're like 21. So you're like,
yeah. And you're going to feel guilty every single day. And you're going to feel like you didn't do enough every single day. And you're going to feel like you're going to feel like shit every single day. That's just, it just is the way it is. And so then I think to myself, like, why would you then want to go to a group where somebody purposely makes you feel even worse than you already fucking do? Like, I feel like the negatives definitely outweigh the positives in these groups. So like, what was your take on it?
Like, when you go on there and you rant about like, oh my God, I did this today. Am I doing something right? And it should be like listen, mama, like there's going to be shit days. There's going to be this, you're doing a good job. And that was like, there wasn't any of that. And it got increasingly mean out there. It was like, you're doing this wrong. You should do it this way. Why didn't you try this? Why aren't you doing it this way? And every other parenting book is the same thing. Parenting books are great. They give you a guideline because you have no idea, right? So it's like, here's this little guideline, but they also make it sound like this is the only way you can do things. And if it doesn't work for your kid, then you are the failure. You're doing it wrong. But it's like, well, no, I have 2 kids and I had to parent them differently. I had to potty train them differently. You know, like how they work is differently, and it's in my own home. And I feel like I'm doing somewhat the same, right? So it's like, if I can't do it with my own home, then why are these parenting books trying to make you feel that way?
Yes. Yes. I totally agree with that. That is, again, I literally this morning, I got a message from one of my friends. He just had his 3rd. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. Welcome to hell. He was just like, what? What do you mean? I go, dude, you're outnumbered now. So buckle up for that. And
You only have 2 parents and 3 kids.
There's only 2 parents. There's 3 kids. One of them is always going to be crying. Prepare for that. Like, and he was just like, oh my God, why didn't I talk to you before we got pregnant? I was like, I don't know. I could have told you this. But it's totally true, because that's exactly right. Is how you parent this one is not how you parent this one. It's not how you parent this one. And you do feel like you're going fucking crazy because you're like, this worked for the first one. Why is it not working for the second one? This is the same house. These are the same rules. These are the same expectations. These are the same routines. Why the fuck is the second child not the same as the first one? And then the third one is
a carbon copy of my first child.
Right. And then the third one comes along and completely flips the script. And you're like, nothing is the same now. Like, what the fuck? Yes, absolutely. So where did you, like, you got the idea for your book. So Instagram moms are full of shit. Also, guys, it's a book. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Chapters. It came out in June of 2024. You can also audiobook it. So if you are running around your house like a fucking psycho and you don't have time to sit down and actually read, throw the fucking earphones in, drown the kids out, put the audiobook on, light it up.
And hopefully you like my voice, because I'm the one who narrated it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So where did this idea come from? Or like, was it literally like, you were like, I got to start recording some of this shit down?
So it kind of like started. So with that mom blog, it was just like, things are ridiculous. And I was like, whatever, I'm going to put like the most benign things on there. And I just kind of like walked away from it. And then 2 of my girlfriends had just had little babies. And we were chatting one day, and my girlfriend was like, you know what? If I see another like social media mom that's got like her hair curled and a full face of makeup in her white kitchen, making like, you know, like a froth latte while her like baby is over there, like making no noise and just smiling at her, like my head's going to explode, because I haven't showered in a week. I don't think I've slept in a month. And like, why? And so it almost started as like a rant. And ended up in a book. And I was like, you know what? I kind of had like the idea for a while. And I was like, you know what? People need to hear this, that all this crap that we get judged about, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I was like, I'm going to give you a little perspective here. And, you know, it even starts with like mothering through generations. Well, every generation parents differently, because they can do it better than the previous one. But the world is changing too. So it's like, you got to change with the world, and all these old rules can't necessarily work anymore, because we have things like social media, and we have things, you know, like YouTube, like we were talking about earlier. And so the world is changing. Historically, it's different. Generationally, it's different. In different countries, it's different. So like, you've got to kind of factor in like these different, you don't know anybody's story. You see a still frame of somebody's life on social media, and you make these conclusions about them, or you see them out in public and, you know, their kid's having a tantrum. Maybe that's the first tantrum that kid's ever had, or maybe that happens all the time. It's none of your business.
Yeah.
Like, just be that person that says, you know what? I've been there. I've you're doing a good job. And I had a moment where I was at a grocery store and my kids, I think, were like 2 and 4, maybe 1 and 3. Either way, like super tantrum age.
Yeah.
One was on the floor having a tantrum. The other one was having a tantrum because she was still in the seat and wanted to get out and run around. And I was losing it. It was one of the only times where I was like, I'm just going to leave my groceries in the middle of this aisle, football both my kids, and just
we're getting the fuck out. Yep.
I am done. And I was like, I can't yell at you like I want to in public because now I know everyone else is going to judge me for it. But my mind is about to explode. And a mom just came up to me and she put her hand on my shoulder and was like, been there. And that alone just flipped my mindset and was just like, thank you. Because that mom is more stressed than anyone else in that aisle.
Mm-hmm.
You're on an airplane and that baby is crying. That mom is losing her shit because she's worried about all of you.
Yeah.
Worrying about her kids.
Yes.
It's all those judgy eyes that are looking at her. And it's just, like those moments where it's like, been there. Thank you. Like, so I wanted to be that person who was just like, you know what? We've all been there. We've all had those shit shows. We've all, no matter how well behaved you see some kids in public, they have shit their pants in public. They had the blowouts. They've had their meltdowns.
Yeah.
Mom is screaming at home. Like we all lose our shit sometimes, and that's okay. Yeah. That doesn't make you a bad mom. That makes you human.
Yes. Yeah. It's so funny that you say that about like, I can't yell at my kids the way I wanted to. My daughter said to me the other day, I can't remember, we were out somewhere and there was a kid having a temper tantrum. And same thing. I was like, none of our business, just fucking keep walking, stop staring. Like this mom, because again, this mom she knows that all these people are looking at her, just fucking keep walking. Yep. And we got to the car and I can't remember if it was my oldest or my middle. She's like, Mom, you know what you would have done in that situation? And I'm like, kind of trying to think. I'm like, it's been a while since they've had a time. They're 10, 12, and 16. I was like, what would I have done that? Would I have whooped your butt? Probably would have whooped your butt in public. She's like, no, Mom, you would have leaned in and in the really scary, quiet voice been like, if you don't fucking knock it off, we are leaving right fucking now. And she's like, you know what's scarier than you yelling, Mom? Your quiet voice. And I was like, I fucking died. I was like howling. I was
the quiet voice or the look like, let's wait until we get home.
Yes, right. I fucking died. And I was just like, oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's true. It's actually true. So quick tip, moms out there, if you need one.
Yeah. The quiet voice really and the look, it works. And they know it.
They totally know it. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so funny. So in the book, is it stories? I have to say, I didn't get a chance to read it. So is it stories? Is it kind of like a monologue? Like, how does the book go?
So it's kind of like that. It starts out with like that history of motherhood kind of thing and how it even goes into like people who don't want to be parents and how you're judged even before you have a baby. Like little girls used to be like, your only purpose in life was to be a wife,
make a baby,
and be a mother, and that was it. That was your purpose in life. And so it's like now I've got friends on all different realms. I have friends that have never, and that's totally fine. Like they're great aunties and uncles to our kids. They just don't want their own. And it's like, and also that flip side of like, maybe the people that don't have kids couldn't have kids. You don't know that story. It's like, it starts with that. And then it kind of goes into like the big topics that moms get shamed about. So, like the big ones are like the breastfeeding versus formula feeding. And like I said, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You don't know their story. Some people maybe wanted to breastfeed and couldn't. Maybe they didn't want to breastfeed. Who cares? Like it's none of your business. If that baby is fed, that baby's growing, that baby's healthy, none of your damn business. And then there's like things, like it goes up to like screen time. And so it is kind of like a younger age because that's what's in my wheelhouse right now. And I'm sure that I'll write one when my kids are teenagers and driving me crazy that way.
And I will read it and think to myself, I wish I read this while my kids I was in this stage.
Right? It's like, I'm not there yet, but it's like those big things of like, like sleep training or co-sleeping, all the different things. And it's like, you don't know their story. These parents are just trying to do their best. And like, they're allowed to make their own decisions. And it's okay to not agree with how other people are doing things. It's okay to not want to do that with your family, but it's not okay to be an asshole about it.
Yes.
That's my biggest message, is just like, don't agree. That's fine. Everybody's allowed an opinion, but you are not entitled to be an asshole.
Yeah.
So disagree, walk away.
Yes, I think that's exactly it. And people insert ourselves. And I think it is because it's so easy to do it on social media, to insert yourself into somebody's life and make a judgment call or make a comment when, like, really, is it affecting you? No, shut your face and fucking move on. Like, scroll on. You don't need to make a comment. You can read it. You can, what is it? We listen and we don't judge. You can listen, you can read, you can judge, but you can't say shit.
Yeah.
Judge away in your head. Judge away. Be like, you know what? That is a stupid decision.
Yeah,
Okay,
I wouldn't
great.
do that with my kid. And then your kid grows up and you're like, shit, they have a lot of screen time. You know? But it's
Totally.
like, you don't know until you're there, and you can judge all you want, but don't say that to them.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you don't know.
No. And it doesn't help no matter what. Like, you saying it does not fucking help. Does not make the situation any better. So yes, completely agree. And then, so I want to talk about this Mummy Why book too, because I picked this one up, flipped through it. I thought it was really good. So Mummy Why came out in August of 2025. It is a children's book. What was the premise behind this one?
So it's kind of like the kids' version of the Instagram book. So it's kids ask all these questions, and it's like, you know, when you're in a grocery store and they're looking at somebody, and you know that they're going to ask something, and you're like terrified that they're going to ask this question.
You're already giving them the look.
But it's like, they ask questions from such an innocent spot. They just want to know what the difference is. So like, one of the first pages is like, oh, I went to school today and we're talking about families. And it was like, well, why do I have a mummy and daddy? And, you know, this friend has just a mummy, and this friend has foster parents, and this friend has two mummies. This friend has two daddies. This friend lives with their grandparents. And it's like, well, you know what? Everybody has different families. And the important thing is they all have somebody who loves them. And they're like, cool. You know, same with like, you know, that grocery store situation of like, hey, mummy, why is that lady speaking funny to her baby? And it's like, oh, well, that's a different language. We speak English and they're speaking a different language, and maybe you know what that language is, and maybe you don't. But it's like, everybody, you know, speaks a different language, and they're like, cool. And they just take it. You know, there's no judgment about it. It's like almost trying to like catch them when they're little, of before they become those judgy bitches that I had to write the Instagram about. You know, and even the things of like, mommy, why are you yelling? And it's like, well, because mummy's frustrated that I had to tell you 5 times to do something. Or, mommy, why are you crying? Because I'm overwhelmed. Yeah. And I just want to be the best mummy possible. Yeah. And it's like, your kids see that, and it's okay to be that, and just explain it to them.
Yeah, it is true. Like, kids, and that's one thing I fucking love kids. Teenagers, not so much, but like the little, like the 8s and unders, like those are my jam, because they ask the funniest fucking shit, like the things that come out of their mouths. And sometimes you have to like stop, because you want to give a really good answer, and it's so funny that you want to laugh, but you know that they've asked you like in a very vulnerable, real, and so you don't want them to think that you're laughing at them, but what they've asked is fucking hilarious, and you have to formulate your answer, and so you have to really pull it together to answer. But like, it is like, they ask the best questions and they just accept it. Like, so I coach U5, so that's what I coach, U5 rugby. So fun. I've got piercings everywhere. I've got a septum piercing. I've got a tongue piercing. I've got piercings all over my ears. I've got, like, you know, and inevitably what they see is the tongue piercing first, because it looks like a little red candy on and I'm talking, and I'm a big, like, you know, very animated talker, and they'll just stop. Coach Nikki, what is in your mouth? And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I'll stick my tongue out. I'm like, see, Coach Nikki has an earring in my tongue. Perplexed. Yeah. Why? And I'm like, and then I'm like,
When
I
you're
mean,
like, why?
do I take you back to when I was 21 and I just decided to get it done? And do I tell you the whole story? Or do I just say that Coach Nikki just likes earrings? I just like earrings. I just like it. And so then they're like, and like sometimes there's like the follow-up question. No, but why?
Oh,
or they just go,
why follow-ups?
Yeah. Or they just go, okay, cool. Or they look at their parents, which is also ideal because majority of their parents are my friends, right? Like these are my friends' kids that I'm now coaching. And they're like, I want a tongue ring like Coach Nikki. And my friends are all like, fucking no.
Like, sorry about the questions that you're going to get later.
I fucking do love it. I'm like, hey guys. So sorry, Coach Nikki. Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. I'm like, when you're an adult, you can get whatever you want, but you got to talk to mom and dad first if you are a kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Well, I mean, like I said, this has been awesome. And listeners out there, if you are looking, I wish I'd had you on before Christmas because we could have had these as Christmas presents to the entire world, but it doesn't matter. Guess what? It's January.
Coming up. Great. Mamas.
Valentine's Day, birthdays, and new moms.
Because it sucks outside and you want to sit by a fire and read.
Absolutely. So yes, Instagram moms are full of shit. It's written by Lesley Prosko, audiobook, Amazon chapters. You guys go get it right now. I want everybody to read this book. And Mummy Why, again, another one. You can read the big kids one. They can read the little kids one. I think they're both amazing books.
You know what? Some big kids can benefit from the Mummy Why as well.
Oh my God, so many big kids. So many big kids. Yes. Yes, totally. Okay, well, I want to wrap up because I've taken a lot of your time and I know that you've got lots of things to do. You're a busy mom, got kids, and you're writing 2 more new books, which I don't want to spoiler alert, but we're probably going to have you back on because I want to talk about the new books when they come out. But I love to wrap up with kind of rapid fire questions, and I think you're going to have some really good ones for this one. So number 1 question is, what is your favorite food or snack when you are on shift or when you were on the ambulance? What was your favorite food or snack?
Anything that you didn't have to heat up. I had so many snacks because there's a very good chance that you are not going to eat dinner. So cheese and crackers was my go-to, or like the turkey pepperonis, anything like granola bars, literally anything that I could find that you didn't have to heat up and you could eat while driving.
Yep, totally. I remember Sheila saying that to me, like the number of times that she delusionally brought like a microwavable meal and it just sat in her lunch kit, and she was like, fuck, every single time she'd go home with the exact same lunch that she'd eaten nothing out of, and she was like, God damn it.
Unless you're prepared to eat your food cold.
Yeah. I could totally see that. You need to make those like little bento boxes. That's what you needed, was like have those where you can just like make your little snack, like a tackle box, a snackle box, and then you can eat all the little snacks. Yes.
Yep. That's basically what it was. It was just a big old bag of snacks. I was like a small child with all my snacks.
And a sippy cup because you can drink it while you're driving. Yeah. That's literally, I said that the other day. I'm like, we have all evolved. All of us with Stanleys. We've just evolved from kids with a sippy cup to adults with a giant sippy cup. That's like what we've done. We this is who we are. This is who we've become.
Because we're still spilling things. Yeah. We're just adult drinks in them now.
Totally. Oh yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. Number 2, and this one, because you gave so many really good ones about, being a mom, like just keep your mouth shut, do your own fucking shit. But what would be a piece of advice that you would give to somebody that's looking to get into a career as a paramedic in this day and age?
I would say just know what you're getting into. Especially, like, you hear a lot about like how there's no ambulances on the road and stuff, and you need to be prepared to get into that situation of like, it's not the way that it used to be. You don't get to go back to your station and sleep all night. It is very busy, but it is also very rewarding. If you can take yourself out of the politics and just love the job and take care of you, that's the biggest thing, because you need to know that if you aren't physically strong enough to do the requirements of the job, go to the gym. I had to work out, for a year before I knew for sure that I didn't have to call backup on every single call. And I mean, we loved calling fire. They come to lift things for me all the time, but it's like, I'm not going to call for like, a little 100-pound old lady. If there's like a 400-pound dude in a basement, sure, they
Yeah.
get to work out all day. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I will, and know exactly, like, know your limitations, but also be mentally prepared and keep track of those. You are going to see some things that nobody else in the world will see, or some things that other people shouldn't see, and know that you're going to do that, and recognize your mental health.
Yeah, love that. Absolutely love that. And it's true. Use your strengths and know your weaknesses, and don't shit on yourself about weaknesses. It just means that's something that you're not that great at, and there is somebody else out there that's really good at it. Use your team around you and make it easier for yourself. Yeah.
That's why we have all these other resources that we all work together. Don't feel bad about calling them to come and help you in certain situations, because they're going to call you if they need your help too. And it should be that mutual respect between all of the first responders.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Okay, last one. And this is I'm going to put you on the spot and make you think. What is one of the funniest stories that you have on being on the ambulance?
Okay. I do have one for this one, because this is the story that I tell everyone. So there's a lot of like, I slipped in the tub situations that you go to as a paramedic, and that things are now up the old bum. So we went to a call for I mean, listen, we all know that you didn't slip in the tub, or a lot of people are slipping in the tubs.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you have that where you could fall? So we went to this call, and it was to a man, and we're like, okay, like, can you walk out? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So it's an awkward situation to begin with. So we all go, and we're in the elevator, and it's dead quiet. And all of a sudden I could just hear zzz. And I was like, I just looked at him, and I was like, is it still on? And he's like, yep. And it took everything in my being to not burst out laughing and like try to stay professional. And I was like, oh my God, I think I had like tears from trying to like not laugh out loud. But I was like, oh my God, this is the most awkward situation. And I will never forget this. That is my favorite story to tell people.
The best part is you're in the elevator. Like, so there's not even like, you can't even like turn away and like snicker to yourself. Like you have to like,
it's dead quiet. And I swear it was like the quietest elevator I've ever been in. Like no bangs or anything. Like it was just, it's like silence. And then zzz. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Follow up on this question. Like, let's just.
You are a better woman than me, because there's no way that I wouldn't have not just bust out. And I have like a very loud, like like I would have.
I'm almost positive I had tears. And as soon as we like handed him off at the hospital, I could not contain myself. I was like, I'm going to pee myself because I can't stop laughing. Like, did that
my God. See, like, and that's the thing, like, because like you do have to be professional, but at the same time, like that person has to know that this is so ridiculous. Like
he was so embarrassed. Oh my God. Like his face was completely red, and I was just like, oh my God, we are. Yep.
See, I don't know what would be more embarrassing in a situation like that. Like having to call 911 would be super embarrassing, but then having to then get transported to the hospital, and then having to also tell more people at the hospital what is wrong. Like I would be like begging the paramedics, like, you need to do whatever the fuck you can while we are here at my house. Please fucking help me. Please do anything you can. Whatever fucking strategies you have, I need your help here. We are not leaving this motherfucking house.
Well, and I guarantee nurses are getting a copy of those x-rays. And they're showing all their friends. They're showing all their paramedic friends. We've all seen it. We don't have a name attached to it or a face, but we know what's going on.
Totally. Oh God. I can't top that. That is a phenomenal story. That is a phenomenal story. What a way to wrap up the podcast too. Like just
Every time you hear that sound now, you're going to think of that story.
Totally am. Oh my God. And like, of course, it's the one elevator, like you said, with no elevator music, nothing, just dead.
Yeah, like dead silence.
Well, Lesley, this has been a treat. You have been an absolute gem. You are a wonderful storyteller. I will vouch for that. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for, like, again, just like, taking a fucking shot on a total rando that walked up to you.
I love it. That's my favorite part of like talking to people and like going to markets and stuff. It's like you get to meet awesome people like you.
Yeah, this has been, like I said, this has been one of my favorite episodes so far. So fun, so funny. I'm like, I have tears in my eyes, like so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, like I said, thank you. We guys, stay tuned. The next books that come out, we're going to have Lesley back on. Have a wonderful new year. Hopefully 2026 is amazing for you. Hopefully these new books are on their way out and we'll have them, at some point in this year. But do you have any last words for our listeners?
Go out and buy my book. It's really funny. If you think I'm funny, my book is even funnier.
I love that. That is a great last word. Go buy the book, guys. Go buy the book. And if you liked this podcast, if you were like, damn, these women are funny and I want to hear more funny shit, we are in season 10, guys. We're heading into season 11. There's over 100 episodes of all amazing, unbelievable female first responders. So if you like this podcast, tell your friends, make sure you listen.
He's awesome.
Yeah, there you see. I love that. And an endorsement for me. Make sure you listen to the podcast. Tell your friends, guys. Subscribe, like, share, and more people can hear all of these awesome stories. But yes, it's been a treat. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun.
Blue Line Fitness Testing is a premier law enforcement fitness testing and training center based in Edmonton. Specializing in helping individuals prepare for the physical demands of a career in law enforcement, we offer comprehensive fitness evaluations, specialized training programs, and classes tailored to meet the unique needs of our clients. Our facility hosts a range of classes and are committed to fostering a supportive and empowering environment where clients can achieve their fitness goals. Our team includes experienced trainers who bring specialized expertise in law enforcement, self-defense, personal training, and rehabilitation. We engage through our community through challenges, events, and our podcast, and we are dedicated to helping individuals succeed in their fitness journeys and career aspirations in law enforcement. Are you looking to get started with your career? Come see Blue Line Fitness Testing, and we'll get you there.